We've all been there, right? You have one of the world's most incredibly powerful AI assistants right at your fingertips, but when you actually ask it a question, the output is sluggish, vague, and honestly, just kind of uninspiring. And on the flip side, you try to run heavy applications, complex neural networks, or even competitive games, and your hardware just lags, totally choking on the demands of modern computing. Well, today we are putting an end to both of those frustrations. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to run a complete system override on how you interact with technology. We're setting up a high-energy Technor tutorial to completely upgrade both the software prompts you use today and the futuristic physical computing hardware of tomorrow. Think of this as your system diagnostic. Today, we're explicitly upgrading your workflow, and we're covering 1. The technology bottleneck. 2. Productivity and coding prompts. 3. Learning and business prompts. 4. The 2026 hardware revolution. 5. Breaking the thermal wall. And finally, 6. Unlocking processing power. By the end of this, you're going to be communicating with AI like an absolute professional, and you'll understand exactly how the physical hardware of the future is evolving to keep up. Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, the technology bottleneck. We really have to start by addressing the core issue holding back your entire tech experience. Our current systems, both the way we speak to software and the way our physical computers process data, are suffering from massive systemic bottlenecks. So, a bottleneck is essentially just a point of severe congestion in any system. When you use an advanced AI like ChatGPT as a basic search engine, just throwing in short, vague prompts, you are artificially bottlenecking its potential. That's software congestion. But on the physical side, traditional metallic PC traces, specifically copper wiring, are creating a literal electron traffic jam inside your machines. To break through these frustrating limits and unlock light-speed processing, you absolutely have to fundamentally change your inputs and upgrade your underlying architecture. Moving right into Section 2, productivity and coding prompts. It's time to stop typing in the dark and just hoping the AI magically guesses what you need. Instead, you need to start giving the AI a highly specific professional role. Now, what's really interesting here is the sharp contrast between the old way of doing things and the optimized way. A basic search query like, help me with my work, is frankly weak. It gives the AI nothing to work with. But with an expert role prompt, you say something like, act as a productivity coach, organize my daily tasks based on priority, estimate the time required for each one, and create an efficient schedule. Boom. Suddenly, the AI isn't just a chatbot, it's a dedicated planner actively saving you time and keeping you focused. I want you to start using these specific expert prompts right now. We've got the first 5 of our 10 ultimate prompts right here. We just saw the productivity coach, but you can also use the project planner for things like meetings and emails. But take number 3, for example, the senior Python developer. Rather than just saying, write Python code, you explicitly instruct the AI. You are a senior Python developer. Write clean, well-commented code that reads a CSV file, removes duplicate records, and explains each step. You can also deploy the code debugger or the algorithm mentor. Giving the AI the strict persona yields incredibly accurate professional-grade code that is immediately ready to use. All right, Section 3, learning and business prompts. We're transitioning to the next suite of expert roles, taking the AI way beyond daily tasks and expanding its utility into deep knowledge retention and high-level strategic consulting. And this brilliantly illustrates how a simple shift in your request completely changes the output. A basic query asks for a definition, like what is quantum computing? You're probably going to get a dense, completely unreadable textbook answer. But deploy the tutor prompt. Explain quantum computing as if I'm 15 years old, then give me 3 real-world examples and a short quiz to test my understanding. By demanding real-world examples and practice questions, you turn the AI into a personal tutor that ensures deep, retained understanding of highly complex subjects. Let's hit prompts 6 through 10. We have the personal tutor and exam prep guide for learning. Then we move into business with the market analyst and the content strategist. But check out number 8, the startup consultant. The absolute trick here is providing constraints. You don't just ask for generic marketing advice. You prompt. Act as a startup consultant. Create a 30-day marketing strategy for an AI YouTube channel with a limited budget. Adding that limited budget constraint, it completely forces the AI to stop giving you generic, big brand fluff and instead produce highly actionable, scrappy business insights tailored to your exact situation. So, to summarize the software half of our explainer, the real power doesn't come from just sitting around waiting for the next big AI model to be released. The secret isn't having a better AI, it's knowing exactly how to communicate with it. A simple, intentional change in the way you ask questions is the definitive key to unlocking results most users will simply never experience. Okay, so you've optimized your software inputs, you're prompting like an absolute pro, demanding incredible, complex outputs from the AI. But what hardware will actually power these massive neural networks and computations? We have to pivot sharply here. Let's look at the physical hardware reality required to process these advanced AI computations without severe lag and massive overheating. Section 4. The 2026 Hardware Revolution. We are standing right on the brink of an upcoming futuristic paradigm shift in hardware that will completely redefine processing power for everyone, from elite developers and entrepreneurs all the way to competitive gamers. 2026. You will want to mark that year on your calendars. This is the pivotal year we finally ditch electron bottlenecking and transition to a revolutionary new chipset architecture. The old ways of manufacturing physical processing chips are literally reaching their absolute physical limits, and 2026 is when the entire industry makes the massive leap. So the crucial point is understanding the technology that takes its place: silicon photonics. This involves integrating laser etch technology directly into consumer chipsets to replace traditional copper. Think about that. Instead of sending electrons through metal, we will be achieving literal, light-speed data transmission using optics. This fundamentally slashes latency across massive neural networks and entirely redefines what your computer is capable of doing. Which brings us to Section 5, breaking the thermal wall. We really need to look at the severe physical limitations of our current technology that is actively forcing this massive leap into optical pathways. Let's trace this out and see how this builds across our physical computing history. In Era 1, we completely relied on traditional metallic traces, copper wires. But as we push more data through them, they generate massive heat and electron congestion. This leads us directly to Era 2, the 2026 thermal wall. This is the exact moment copper interconnects hit their absolute physical limit. They simply get way too hot and too congested to process the massive data demands of modern AI. That forces the breakthrough right into Era 3, high bandwidth optical pathways, giving us pure, light-speed processing that doesn't overheat. It's a stark, almost cinematic tech noir contrast. On one side, you have the archaic, overheating metallic traces of the past. Copper interconnects just struggling with the thermal wall, electron bottlenecking, and high latency. On the other side, you've got the pristine, futuristic reality of silicon photonics, laser-etched pathways offering light-speed data transmission and zero congestion. We are literally replacing heavy, hot metal with pure light. It's incredible. Section 6. Unlocking processing power. So how does this epic hardware revolution directly impact you, the end user, sitting at your desk every single day? Well, who exactly benefits from these optical pathways? Honestly, everyone who needs speed. First, engineers running massive AI neural networks are going to see compilation times plummet. Second, developers executing that complex Python code you just generated with your optimized ChatGPT prompts will experience flawless execution. Third, competitive gamers aiming to master the Valorant meta will see latency drop so low it entirely redefines their competitive edge. And of course, high-end hardware enthusiasts get to play with the most advanced architecture in human history. Bridging these light-speed pathways completely transforms the landscape for anyone who relies on speed and precision. We've seen exactly how vague prompts limit your AI and how overheating copper limits your hardware. But you now hold the blueprint to fix both. By adopting those expert persona prompts, like the senior developer and the startup consultant, you are maximizing your software potential right now. So the only question left to ask is this: are you ready to optimize your software inputs today so you are fully prepared to master the light-speed hardware of tomorrow? Start upgrading your prompts and get ready for 2026.